you're welcome to day 2 of Stewarding Your Kingdom Heritage. I'm so excited to be here again today. I am your host, Aisha Verano. Thank you so much for joining in today. And for those who joined yesterday, I'm glad you're back here today. Leave a comment. Let's see you in the live chat. Let me know where you're joining from. And let me know if you were here yesterday. So if you were here yesterday, you would know that yesterday was so amazing. A lot of things were shared with us, a lot of nuggets, a lot of very useful information. So if you're joining today, I want you to leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know whether you joined yesterday. If you joined yesterday, let us know what exactly did you learn from yesterday's event, yesterday's conference. I know for me, I learned so many different things, but I'm so excited to hear what you think about what you learned. So yeah, thank you. Please continue to share in the comments. Let us know exactly what you've learned. Whilst I'm waiting for you guys to leave your comments, I'm just going to share a little bit about what I learned. So for those of you who are just joining today and who missed yesterday, I will encourage you to go on the YouTube channel, A Father Podcast. It's A Father I Shine, actually. And go on the YouTube channel and make sure that you catch the video from yesterday. It is so important that you watch it. And yeah, so that you can know the context of what we're talking about yesterday. Yesterday was so amazing. I'm so excited for exactly what today is going to be, because I know it's going to be even better and more glorious than yesterday was already. So continue to leave your comments. I'm probably going to read it once I see more comments from everyone regarding the program. In the meantime, whilst I'm waiting for the comments to keep coming, please keep the comments coming in. Someone said yesterday was amazing. I agree. I was learning so much. I wrote so many different things down. I was just in awe of every single person who spoke yesterday. Spoke amazingly well. And I learned so many different things. Like, I was taking notes that will help me for the rest of my life. So yeah, if you were here yesterday, let me know in the comments, what exactly did you learn? What was the one thing that you took away from yesterday? Just keep the comments coming. I'm going to have a look at the YouTube channel. Just so if I'm looking down, I am just looking at the streaming so I can see what comments were left, and so I can read some of the comments out. So yeah, keep the messages coming. Ooh, I love that one. I should be a warrior and not a warrior. That is a word. Like, honestly, that got me. I was just so excited when I saw that, because that really resonated with me. I think for those who weren't here yesterday, that was one of the really profound truths that were shared yesterday. Instead of worrying, be a warrior, pray without ceasing, intercede concerning that situation. Don't continue. I know, as well, most people say as parents, it's easy to worry about your children. I can appreciate that. However, it is important, even when they do things that should be worrying, it's important to take that energy and convert it into prayer points. Spend time praying and, praying to the Lord about the situation. So yeah, keep the comments coming, guys. Keep the comments coming. I'm just going to have a look at the YouTube channel. So I'm looking down, but I'm looking at the comments. So keep the comments coming in. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Whilst we're waiting for more people to join in and share their comments, I'm just going to share a few things that resonated with me. One of the things, the first speaker, who is actually the woman with the vision for today and yesterday's conference, is Kende Adegoke. One of the things she said that really, really inspired and got me is, children hear what you say, but learn from watching you do. So it's like they can listen to whatever it is you say, but they will do what they see you do. So, and that's one of the things that is so important. It is honestly so important. And the second speaker yesterday, Sister Malara, was given an example of, sometimes parents would say things like, just say I'm not at home, to, when someone comes over to look for them, and tell their child to say, oh, go and tell them I'm not at home. From that, you're teaching your child or your children how to lie. and then you'll be surprised when they start to lie to you, but you are teaching them those things. So, and which tied in perfectly with what Sister Kende said yesterday, which is what, when children, when they see what you do, they emulate what they see you do. So it's not really do as I say, it's more like they would do as they see you do, basically. So that was one of the things that really, really got me yesterday. And I'm just gonna have a look and see. Amazing. I am a steward, not the owner. I will give account of how I nurture them. That is so remarkable. That is honestly the truth. As a steward, you're not the kids. The kids don't belong to you. They belong to God. That is the honest truth. The kids belong to God. It is your duty as parents to nurture your children. And you have to be ready to give account of how you nurtured your children, because God would be like, well, I made you a steward over those children. You don't own the children. And one of the things she said yesterday that really, really struck me, Sister Candy, specifically, was the fact that when someone entrusts something to you, you do better at it than when you think you own it yourself. And I think, she gave the example of, when someone gives you gold, for example, and it's not yours, you hold on to it, you deal with it preciously, and you don't just do any and everything to it. I know for me, for example, when if a friend is like, oh, drive my car, I'm like, oh yes, I'm like the most careful driver ever. But when it comes to my car, I'm like, oh yes, fine, it's mine, it is what it is. But if we take that intentionality when it comes to stewarding your children and seeing that they are God's children at the heart of it all, and you've been entrusted with this amazing duty to make sure that you nurture your children in the way of the Lord. Yes, yesterday was phenomenal. I agree. That's what someone is saying, Brother Stephen. Thank you very much. Yesterday was phenomenal. I agree. Everything was just outstanding. I was so mind blown through it all. And another thing that Sister Omolara, the second speaker, said was, you cannot use carnal weapons to fight spiritual battles. When I was like, oh, that is a word, that really, really got me. Like, that resonated with my spirit. And I think sometimes people think parenting, is life is spiritual. Everything you do is spiritual. So it is important that when you are entrusted with anything with your children, you are praying, you are fighting the battles spiritually. If your children are misbehaving, it's time to take it to the Lord in prayer. Actively pray for them, consistently pray for them, pray and continue to pray until you see a lasting change. And whilst you're praying, don't worry, God will take care of it. Don't worry. The one last thing I wanted to share before I introduce the speaker, the first speaker of today, is be consistent in your discipline. That is something that Sister Malara said yesterday. Be consistent in your discipline. And I know for me, this resonated because when you see older children, like the firstborn children, they're always like, oh my God, if you know what I went through. However, you see the lastborns, they get away with any and everything, and the parents are like, oh, just leave them alone, they're all right, No, be consistent in your discipline, be consistent throughout. Let your children be able to anticipate your discipline. Let them know, okay, I did this wrong. If I do this wrong, definitely discipline is going to come. Not, oh, I'm going to get away with it because I'm the favorite, or I'm going to get away with it because I'm the last born. It is important to be consistent with your discipline. On that note, that's just a few nuggets of what I learned yesterday. So what I want to say to you is, if you're here today and you didn't watch yesterday, honestly, please head over there. I need you to go back and watch it. It is so important that you watch it. Honestly, you will be blessed as you do. All right, so let's get into day 2. I am pumped. I am excited. And I'm so excited in my spirit to introduce this amazing woman. She is just amazing in every single way. And now I'm going to introduce Bokun Imokwede. She is a leading voice in the advocacy of personal development for women, especially of African heritage. She is a strength-based practitioner. She's an NLP practitioner. She's an associate family life practitioner. She inspires, she empowers, and she educates moms on how to discover their true and authentic self. She believes in the woman making herself a priority and living a life beyond the labels of motherhood, marriage, culture, or skin color, so that she can truly discover herself as a priority, as a complete woman that she was designed to be. Wow. She coaches, she mentors, she trains, she speaks, she works as an IT consultant. She is the founder of Moms Aloud, and she is also the convener of the African Confident Women Summit. And most recently, she became a podcast host. She is a wife to one handsome young man and a mom to three fantastic masterpieces. Wow, that's just brilliant. She's a fun loving person and enjoys life. People say she doesn't know how to dance, but she says she's a real dancer deep down in her mind and spirit, and that is all that matters. And I agree with her. Join me in welcoming the amazing Bokun Imokwede. Hello.
Hello, thank you so much, Aisha. You read that like you were just next to me, but which is good. Kenny is saying that we need to talk about the vision just before I go into today's session. So thank you. She's saying we need to talk about the vision again of what we are doing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Just a little bit more about the vision of why we're here today. Yesterday, we started talking about the importance of children. Children are so important to God, and which is why they're so important to us. So it is important that we are here listening, and every single speaker that is coming here today is going to be talking about intentional parenting, the best way to parent your children, just a lot of different things about how to take your parenting to the next level. And, it was birthed, through a vision that, God gave to Sister Kende Adegoke. And it's so, honestly, it's so amazing when she was expressing, details about the vision that came about. It is important that as parents, you understand your identity so you can be able to raise children who understand their identity, who do extraordinary things. One of the things I was sharing yesterday about the vision is people tend to be, people are not as intentional about parenting the way they're so intentional about other areas of their lives. And it's important. We are changing that. We're bringing light to that and teaching people how to intentionally parent their children. Ultimately, one of the biggest points is the fact that as parents, you are stewards. You don't have ownership of those children. You are stewards, which means they've been entrusted to your care. And so it is important that you are raising them properly. And one of the things that was shared yesterday about the vision is the fact that when people have some parents are dealing with unresolved traumas, those sorts of things, it is so important that that is resolved so that you can be the amazing and best parent to your children. So the conference is going to cater to you at whatever point you are in your life, irrespective of where you are, even if you're expecting, you're an expectant parent or you're not even there yet. Whatever the case may be, the conference will cater to you. Even if you have children and you think I have this thing on lock, there are still more tools that you can learn. There's still more to be learned. And so whatever stage you are at life or in life, you're welcome. And I'm so excited because I'm like, this vision has been birthed. It's so important because God has a plan for every single one of us. And it's important that as parents, you're helping your children channel that vision, channel their purpose, fulfill their purpose as stewards. So yeah, that's just a little bit more about the vision. So thank you so much. And yes, over to you, Miss.
All right. Thank you so much. Actually, that was really wonderful. And I'm so glad. Thank you, Kenny, for the opportunity. I'm so happy. Anything has to do with the family, I love it. It's something that resonates with me. It's a passion, something I enjoy. And just before you go, Aisha, or I don't know if you're going to be staying all through, but I just want to see if you can see my screen.
Okay.
I'm going to try share my screen. So I want to share the window. So I've got some slides which I'll be sharing. I don't know if I'll be able to see. Let me know if you can see my screen so I can go ahead. Can you see it?
At the moment, I can't see your screen. I can only see you.
Okay. Can you see it now?
Now I can see it.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
I wonder if you're able to expand it a little bit.
Expand it. So probably do
Maybe
in the mode.
Yeah, maybe maximize the window itself.
Is this better?
Yes, but I was saying maybe maximize the window itself, as in where the PowerPoint is, so that it might be a little bit bigger at the top.
But it is maximized.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah.
try that again then.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine then. I think maybe once I come off, it would be a full screen then.
Okay, and it's in the full mode now.
Okay, it is. I can see it. I think once I come off, then it'll probably be full on.
Okay, and I have up until 12:50, if I'm right. Is that 30 minutes?
You do. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you.
Fine.
So, okay. I can't see anything apart from just my template. So I apologize if anyone's typing in or sending any messages or something. I can't really connect, but I just pray that I'll still be able to connect with you all and you'll be able to learn from today. So am I okay to go on, Aisha?
Yes, you're okay to go on. Okay. Everything is good from the side.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so my name is Bokun Imokwede, like Aisha introduced me, and I'll tell you a bit more about myself. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about strong family, strong society. And I've put it here that everything starts with the family. Want to believe it or not, you want to agree or not, it starts with the family. Everyone has originated from a family. Everyone comes through a family. It all starts with the family. And you see as I go more into it. Okay. What's today's objective? I always like to define what the objective of, even if I'm having a meeting with someone, there has to be an why am I, because my time is so precious. I don't like to waste it. So I need to know. So again, today, why am I here? What's the objective of this session? I believe that the objective of today's session is first to help us commit again to God and then to family. We need to commit, we've all been talking about intentional prayer. I was here yesterday when Mr. Kenny was talking and she talked so much. I had to send her a message, are you peeping into my notes? Then as well as Sister Lara was talking and I said, we're all drinking from the same water. That's what it means. Now, I like this quote and it says, family is where life's deepest joys lies. I'll get a bit more into that as well. But just think about it. Let it soak these words in. Think about it deeply. Family is where life's deepest joy lies. Let's meet Bokun. Aisha has done a fantastic job introducing me, reading all those stuff that she said. But the only thing I want, if you're not taking anything from this, the one thing I want you to know about me is that I am a global masterpiece. I've been designed by God, and I call God the grand overall designer. I was born to be love, to be light, to be peace. I bring clarity. I bring hope to humanity, and I am a solution to my world. That's the real me. Every other thing here you see, they're just roles I play. You take me away from there, I will still be light. I'll be love. I'll be peace. I'll bring clarity. I'll bring hope. I'll bring solution. So every other thing you see in there, they're just roles that I fit into. Whether I'm a mom, I'm a this, I work in this and that. These are all roles. Whether I'm helping women, those are roles. But the real me, I am love, light, and peace. Anytime you see me, that's what I want you to experience. I want you to experience love, light, illumination, peace, Clarity is what I want to experience when you come in contact with me. And the other thing I want to talk about that she said is that I'm married to one handsome young man, and of course, a mom to 3 outstanding, because I am a masterpiece. I am raising masterpiece. You might be a queen and you're raising princesses and prince and all of that. So who are you? And this is all part of how we define ourselves and who our family. You can't give what you don't have if you don't know who you are, who God has sent you to be, what's your purpose and all of that. You can't really define. So that's me in a nutshell. I put something else here. For my quotes, I always like you to look at it over and over again. But because I can't really see you guys, I really wish I could interact and say, oh, put this in the, if I can read the comments and all of that, but I'll see what I can do with what I've got. It says, remember, I'm talking about strong society, strong families and strong society. To put the world in order, we all know the world is in chaos. Everything is happening. COVID has taught us so much that this world indeed is just all over the place. We must first put the nation in order. And to put the nation in order, we must first put the family in order. To put the family in order, we must first cultivate our personal life. We must set our hearts right. If your heart is not right, you can't raise the right kids. You can't set the family in order. If you don't set the family, the street will be in chaos. The street is in chaos. The cities in chaos. The cities in chaos. The towns in chaos. The towns in chaos. The nation is chaos. And on and on. It's just unending. My next slide talks about something you want to think about. Like I said, don't waste it. Time just listening or just joining conferences. What are you here for? Think about it. Now, I have a few questions which we can either answer at the end of this session, or you just take it away. Think about it as I go through today's topic. Who is your child to you? Not my own child, not the child of your friend or your neighbor or your cousin. Your own child. Who is your child to you? What's your role as a parent, and what does parenting mean to you? Remember, yesterday, Stakeni talked about part of this thing. So you think about it and answer this question sincerely. I don't need the answers. You don't need to tell me, but just answer them. What's your family's why? Why did you marry that person you married? What's your family? What are you there for? What are you guys there for? Why has your family been set up? Is it just to stay there, do graduation, work, and then that's it? What's your family's why? Your why will keep you going. And what would you like to take away from this program? Those are the things I want you to think about. My next slide, I'm talking about strong family, strong society. Let's look around. Everything speaks family. It's all about family. We're all born into the family. And guess what? At the last flight, when everyone is departing and going through the departure lounge of life, people will want to be surrounded by family. Nobody wants to be surrounded by the cars and the houses they built and the nice diamond rings. Who wants to be surrounded by all that at the end of life? Well, I don't know if there's anyone that says that would like to do that, but I know that I read a book that talked about a doctor that witnessed a lot of end of life for people and for his patients, and he said he has never for once seen anyone who would wish that, as they were on their giving their last breath, so to say, oh, I wish I bought that car. I wish I spent more time at work. I wish I became the manager of so and so. They don't remember all of that. All they want to do at that last moment is they begin to think about the regrets. Oh, the people I never called, my family that I never spent my time with. Oh, the time I never spent with, the time I never attended this with my child, that's what people think about. So, we need to stop and think and reprioritize what is the most important thing to us. If you look around very well, you look deep down, family is your first priority, whether you want to accept it or not. It all starts with the family. I've put some verses of scriptures here, which I would not be able to, read all of them, but you can see some of them. This is talking about how before God knew you, He created you, He knitted you in your mother's womb. You're fearfully and all of that the scripture describes. I said in here, in theology, God is the Father. God is depicted family. In education, you parents are the most influential parents, because the first school your child is going to go is your home. Whether you like it or not, before your child goes to school, at least it's going to be a particular, at least you're not going to send a child on the first day. So teaching has started in your house. Nature, everything grows in family. People say mother nature. And in economics, the people who are collecting our money, the big businesses, they depend on us. If there's no family unit, they can't make money. So it's all about the family. In politics, if you drill it down, it's all about family, because it's your vote, it's you that they need. So everything talks about family. Now, the root of family, I want to talk a bit about defining the family over and over again. What's the purpose of the family? Some of the purposes or the roles of family I've put in here. And again, I've put some scriptures in this one just at the for the start. And as we go into, I would show you some kind of evidence-based type of teaching about the family. Some roles that I have identified that are key are multiply. And I've linked it back to the scripture that God gave the command that says, be fruitful, multiply, replenish the earth. But guess what? You know what I love the most about this part of the scripture is the part of dominion, where we are to dominate. We are not just to multiply and just say, we are to dominate in multiplying, replenishing. But what do we have in our world today? A lot is happening. Are you dominating? Are you, raising kids who are going to be dominating our world? The next one is modeling values. The family is where you model value, you shape and form. When you see a child who comes outside, go deep down, go and check how the child was raised. You would see what it is. The family is a place of nurturing, love, growth. Again, I've linked it back to scripture in Colossians 3:21. Identity, your foundation. You are rooted in your family. Fulfillment, a place where you can be the real you. I talked earlier again about end of life. People don't say, oh, where's that award? Where's this I got? They want to be surrounded by the people that they truly, truly love. Next one. Now, we've been defining the family. I want us to look at the original plan against what's happening in today's world. I mentioned 5 things about the family: multiplying, modeling, nurturing, identity, and fulfillment. Let's look at what's happening in today's world. Multiplying. If we ask about that, I'm sure for those who live in the Western world, you know that a lot is happening when it comes to the family. People are redefining it, and you just don't want to go into the details. The order was for us to multiply. Then you have people saying, oh, I probably don't want to have any child, which sometimes you can look at it and say, it's their decision and all of that. But again, think deep. What is the motive? What's really the reason? Some of them might just be selfish, but some might have genuine reasons to say, you know what? But a lot of times, I remember with a colleague recently, he said, oh no, I don't want to have children. I'd rather have dogs. Children are just a waste of my time. They are this and that. And I looked at it and I just laughed. I said, but your parents had you, and they raised you. So new world scenarios, things are happening. You go to a ladies' toilet and you look around and they're telling you gender neutral. That's another one, so things are happening in the world. Modeling values. You have poor parental examples. Takeni gave something yesterday. She said, if you can't give what you don't have, like parenting, if it's not in there, you only give from the abundance of your heart. What you have is what you give. We have confusion of core values. What's the value of it? The value of a thing is the worth of something. So if I say a diamond ring, immediately your mind begins to go into something that is expensive. That's the value of what. If I say a mud house, you just immediately think, oh, I know the value. So what are your values? So confusion of core. People are losing the real core things are being lost in today's world. Rather than people nurturing kids and training them properly in the house, you have excessive daycare and you have impersonal and institutionalized care. You see people getting old and they end up in care homes, which, sometimes you look at it, but there's no touch, that personal touch, the nurturing, we're now handing it over to others to do. Identity, there's a loss of identity of who people really are. The identity is now mixed to corporate identity. I belong to so and so, I work for so and so. These are people's identity. I've done this, they're identifying themselves with they're losing that core identity of who they really are. Then you have gang identity. Of course, you see, kids who lack that sense of who they really are will begin to say, oh, I'm going to join Boko Haram. I'm going to join the gun people. What's it called? The gun and whatever it is that they do on the streets, just to join, because there's no identity in the house. Fulfillment, again, people are reprioritizing career. You would hear people talk about, oh, so and so of that. But deep down in them, they've lost that sense of satisfaction in the family. Okay, I'll jump. Key elements that any family will survive on. Without any of this, the family can't survive. Love, commitment, time, communication. And again, I want to touch on what this means in today's world, how we've replaced it, how the society is now redefining those key things. Love, the society is redefining it with busyness. Lost is now being confused with lost. Societal definition is now about material possession, rather than the love of people. What do they own? What do they have? That's how you judge people by, oh, what does he have? What kind of home? What kind of car? That's how we now show love. We now prioritize people based on what they have. The other one is commitment. Rather than people committing to say, you know what, I am going to die to self. I'm going to be selfless when it comes to the no. You have a high divorce rate because this one's not going to agree. Everyone is in conflict mode. Everyone's trying to do alternative cohabitation options. People have been saying, no, I would rather have a partner than get married. A lot of things are happening. And you might look at it, it doesn't really apply to us, but look at what is happening, especially in the next generation, the generation your kids are going to be growing up. These real issues. Society definition is now corporate culture replacing family commitment. Now, with time, that one hurts me so much because family gets less and less time and work is getting more and more and more. Everything is just moving to work. Societal definition of time is to spend longer hours and in time-consuming activity and very little with your own family or the people you're told to raise. Communication. People are communicating more with people, more with gadgets and technology, less with people. And there's a wide generational gap. So it's all centered around, emotions, feelings, and all of that. And it's just the world that we live in. Okay. Now, the original order. What's the order? The original order that God gave is to put the family at the core. The family is the number one. Number one is for the family. Next is community. Next is the private sector. And next is bigger. But guess what? When the family is broken, it means it's going to be what? Broken all the way. If you see a country complaining, go and look at the core. That child has been starved of love, starved of this. And when it gets out there into the community, it becomes someone that would torment a community. It would go all the way up, straight to the street, straight to the community, to the city, to the state, and then to the continent, and of course to our world. Because what would you be put? When you see, some leaders of the world are distant, if you go deep down to their core, those are hurting children who have unresolved, they have not found closure. They have hurt that they've not let go. If you look deep down. Next one, like I said, I'm going to be using evidence-based statistics. Today's world is totally different from what our parents were faced to. And the thing is, the truth is, the world our parents lived in, as much as we respect and honor and remember history, some and a lot of them are not applicable. Look at what's happening today. So a generation ago, when you go into the problems that kids are providing and all of that, you find out that a generation ago they were talking about, you're talking out of turn, you're not asking to speak. Now we're not dealing with that. We're dealing with alcohol abuse. Chewing gum was a case in those days. Now chewing gum, it's like hey, go to schools and be thinking about, you're chewing gum while the teacher is talking. Now they're dealing with drug abuse. A generation ago they were dealing with being disruptive and making noise. Now it is things like robbery. Generation ago, cutting in line. Now teenage pregnancy, running in the hall, people are assaulting one another. You're talking about dress code violation. Now they're dealing with rape. Talking about littering. Now people are having to deal with suicide. So it lets you know that there's a big difference between what our parents were faced with and what we are facing now. I want us to meet the culprits. Who are those? Who are those things, or what are those things that are competing with the family? These are some of them. I've listed 8, but I'm going to be focusing for the purpose of today's class on number 3. And I'm sure if I ask a lot of parents, where people who are raising teenagers, if I ask you, those who are raising little kids, if I ask you, out of all of this, which one is the one that is really eating deep? It's number 3. Look at the culprits. Culprits number 1, financial institution and merchandising. You see people saying that, until I wear the best designer, they have confused the whole world such that people now think that they are defined by those things, like the kind of cars. When you see people, acquiring and accumulating, you're like, where are you at the end of life? Like I said earlier, You're not going to surround yourself with this. It's going to be the family, the people, relationship is what you, because we are relational beings. Next one, entertainment and media. Oh, another world. The kind of songs, everything going on. And guess what? This is being done by a minority, and they make it an issue of majority. Because you know why? The other majority who are meant to be focusing on the core values are not talking about it. Internet, like I said, political and government cultures, they are setting the rules and saying, yes, we want this kind of this thing. You have to do this culture. You must allow, same-sex marriage. Do this and that. They are competing with the family. Education, or another world, because you get into the school, rather than the school helping you to raise and teach your kids life skills, they are just, they're losing the ground. Court system and legal system, religious and voluntary. You're wondering, why have I put that in there? I have put it in there because religion is part of the major problem. I'm not talking about spirituality. There's a difference between religion and spirituality. So you must separate these two things. We need to be spiritual, and spirituality is all about the power of the power of God at work. It's different from religion. Now is about, oh, how many programs can we do as a church? The number of this, or as a whatever religious organization you belong to. It's a lot of things that happen, and the kind of values that we're passing on to these children is just a no-no. Business, work, and profession is another couple, because of course that one is taking people's time. Now, I've talked so much about all the things that are there, but I want to now quickly focus the last 10 minutes on way out. It's time to turn back and let's move forward. What's the way out? How do we get out of where we found ourselves? And I'm asking this question: what is your family's culture? Is this culture stronger than the competing cultures? I talked about the competing cultures, internet, this and that and that. Is your family culture stronger than the competing culture that we have? Recommitment is the first thing I want us to look at. We need to first recommit, because family is the first priority. It's our first assignment. It's where your real and heartfelt commitment. I talked earlier about a doctor that witnesses the end of life, and how he said that, you don't get to the end of life and say, oh, I wish I bought this car, I wish I did this. It's all about family, the lives you impacted, the people, and all those things that you do. When you understand your why has your family been set up, it will help you stay focused. Your eyes will be on the flint. You would look straight and you will go for it. Why does your family exist? I asked that question earlier. Think about it. Is that reason, is it positive? Is it going to bless humanity? Is it big enough, or is it just, oh, my kids graduate, my kids do this, my kids? Where is that thing? I asked the question, who is your child? A child simply is a gift that has been sent from God as pure living water from the divine to bless humanity. That child in your hand has been sent here to be a solution to something. Someone once said, when the world is in crisis and they pray, they know the solution. God sends a child as a solution. So every child in the hand of each one of you is a solution to something. You need to find out. You need to discover what God has sent that child to do, rather than you disrupting it. And that treasure in your hand, you need to make sure you know what that child is here for, and then let the child guide them to be able to be choose. And then your family's way, is it specific to you, or are you following what Star Kenny's own is, Star Lara's own is, Star Boku's own is, Aishi's own is? You're picking, commitment or your family's wife from everybody. No. The second thing I want us to look at is teach and live by correct principles and values. I talked earlier on about values being eroded. Today we are faced with a challenge of no other era, but it's one that even our parents might not be able to help us. You know why? They're not faced with the same challenges we are faced with in today's world. Stakeni said something that the children are not listening to you. They're not. They are watching you. It's what you do. They do as you do, not what you say. So it's not a case of, oh, whatever. And guess what? You see, wrong values is like bacteria. The wrong values, when they go on, until you have a very strong immune system. When bacteria comes and it bombards that person, it will take a lot of help for them to, go to what are you engraving on the heart of it? What kind of values? A lot of time people are losing the right values and all of that. Where are values like honesty? faith, discipline, positivity, sacrifice, delayed gratification, patience. They're eroding away. A lot of people are not giving to their children. So you need to ensure that the immune system of your children is ready to fight the bacteria of the society, because it would come. But let them be loaded with the core values. If you're Christians, let the core values of the Word of God be engraved in the heart of it. Let it be engraved in their blood, such that when the bacteria of this world comes, they will not be moved, because they are immune against it. We need to teach and live by. Remember, listen and watch it. Teach and live. Not just teach them. You yourself must be an example. Live by. If you don't live by those core values, it's not going to happen. The next one, the other thing I was going to say about the okay, so the next one is reinventing time management. To a child, love is spelled time. And the time we're talking about is not just, allocated time. I spend 20 minutes with you in the morning, rush to school, rush to work. No, I've said here, unrushed, undivided, quality time. This child or your children, they need it. One of the greatest gifts you can give to them is that gift of time, listening, laughing, playing, be free. Stop programming them that I've given you 5 minutes. You need to go. Let's rush everything. Rush everything. You seize the opportunity when they're not. Your child will be 3 only once. They'll be 5 once. Once they cross that age, that's it. Time spent, gone. You can't get it back, because time is the only thing you spend. You can't get it back. Once the last 1 minute I was speaking is gone. I can't get that particular minute in 22nd day of October 2020. I can't get it back. So time is so precious. We need to spend it wisely. The next one is teach understanding and how to use this. I talked about the institutions, about 8 of them. Our focus, like I said, is on technology. This is one of the greatest time wasters. And I put it here again, time is the only currency you can spend once. 12:45 is what the time is now, 2nd of October 2021. By the time it gets to 12:46, that time is gone. I've spent it once. That particular time can never, ever come back, no matter how I try. Now, this culprit I mentioned, so I said technology, businesses, work, religion, and voluntary organization, all the things I mentioned, they are culprits. And guess what? They are like fire. This fire, they can warm us up, they can support us, they can sustain us, but at the same time, they can consume and destroy. They can consume and destroy. And then, like I said, for technology, even our parents couldn't even hand that over to us, because they were not faced with it in their generation. There was no mobile phone. There was no, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, everything that we have today. They don't know. So there's no way they would have been able to figure that we have to learn about it, because it is only applicable to our generation. And I'm not disrespecting the old. I celebrate history. I celebrate our parents and all the things that they've done. But, in today's world, we are faced with a different challenge that we have to find a way out ourselves. It's something that, if we're not careful, is going to destroy a lot of things. Let your children know that all you need to do is to milk the benefits of this institution. You have to teach them that the economy, the internet, technology, the religious and voluntary, you are to milk it. Let them understand the benefit that they can get from this institution, rather than letting this institution consume us, such that, we need to know how to deal with technology in the home. If you've not started setting time, when to know timeouts, when to set this, including your own tech times. It's not just the kids, because what they say you do, you say, put your phone down. They are watching you. You're there 24/7 on your own phones. No, set bedtimes. Put your phone away. Put it on silent. Be unapologetic about this, especially to the children, because you know what? You are the chief security officer of your children. You are the chief security officer who is meant to guide them and protect them and let them know that they should be doing the right things at the right time. Okay. For gadgets, one of the things I'd say is go and get more information about how to do it, and make sure that you also always try and put them in communal areas where everybody can see it. Make communication a lifeline. In today's world, like I said, gadgets is replacing people. The world has made it a lot easier that you communicate through gadgets and everything. But you know what? I'm not going to say, cut out communication to the board. You see, what you need to do is ensure that there's time for everything. There's time for guidance. There's time to be for real life discussion. But again, as parents, we need to get into the flow. We need to get into if your kids like to communicate with you by text, why not? Because that would open up more opportunities for them to be able to communicate to you face to face or in real life. That would spoil your verbal communication. So get on TikTok, get on Snapchat if you have to, but of course be reasonable in what you're doing. You would, the kids are going to school, rather than saying, oh, you didn't make your bed today, send them oh, I wish you all the best in school, or something nice that they'll be able to, or do a dance or send something. So you must find a way to make communication a lifeline. And lastly, I just want to say, we need to create a strong identity. A strong and a true identity that would amaze the world. When your child knows who they are, they have that sense of identity. They will not be moved by the gang life and by any other thing. It will be so hard for you to persuade or to get them into the wrong thing. Have a clear purpose for your family. A reason why you exist. Write it down. Get a mission. Get a goal. Let the children know. Remember, God is the author and the giver of this gift. He's put those gifts in your hand. You yourself, you're a gift. You need to first align you're as a gift and begin to understand your kids. And write it down, make it plain. Let everyone that sees it understand. Run with it. Your children will run with it when they understand it. Set rules, regulations, boundaries, order, so that when they go out to the society, they don't become a nuisance, or you're not churning out what is wrong. Make sure there is order in your own house. When you wake up, let them know the family contribution. You don't just wake up and then go and start eating. There's a place for you to contribute to the family. That way they will know they need to contribute to a society, and there's consequences for every action. You do this, stick to it. Let it be known that when we do this in this family, because in the real life, when they are faced with action, there's consequences for everything that they do. Let there be an economy. Explain to them that in your own house, you have an economy. Let them contribute, like I said, to the bottom line. Play their part. Let them know they're a part of a puzzle, a bigger puzzle, which is your own household. Celebrate traditions. Yes, there's a sense of identity in your tradition and where and what you stand for. Your tradition in God, your tradition as a people. Where are you from? Where was grandma born? Oh, why do we eat jollof? Is it Ghanaian jollof? Fried rice, whatever it is, pounded yam, your dressing, holidays. How do you celebrate in your own home? Let there be a sense of that tradition that they would love and always come back to. And lastly, make sure that there's an history that your child is really, really proud to be and identify with. And history first in God, who is the head and the source of all things. And then you link it back to, the genealogy, where they're from. But most importantly, the history and their root in God, who is the giver of life. And to my kids, I always say, I'm like your sibling. Do you know why? Because we have come from the same source. The only thing is that I've just come ahead of you and I've come to prepare the way for you. We're all one before God. God just sent you ahead of the kids. They're not yours, like I've been talking about. They are God's. So go ahead, prepare the way. And when you're giving account, make sure you're giving a good account. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Vokun. That was amazing. Thank you so much. I actually have one question for you, if you don't mind. So when you were talking, you said family is your first priority. I know you talked about different things that can take people away from their families, work being one of them. And I just wanted to ask a question about, let's say there's someone here today who feels like they haven't made their family their priority. Where do they start from now? Like, what do they do next? What would you advise? How should they go about trying to make adjustments?
Well, so if there's someone here who says, oh, I've not made part, the first place would be, depending on your kind of person, some people are able to listen to something and able to take action. But some people will need some kind of support to take action. First, commit to someone who you know can hold you accountable. That this is me, this is what I've been doing, and going forward, this is what I want to do. Get someone you're accountable to. Get an accountability system in place and support system that would help you. And they can come in different ways. It can be through a friend. It can be getting through a coach, a family life coach, family life practitioner, somebody that can help you to say, can you help me look at, why I've not been committing to my family, or just help me do an overview of my life's domain. For me, when I work with clients, what I do is I do like an audit, a life audit of different domains of life. So I have 6 domains of life that I tell people I like your must-haves. 1, spiritual. 2, physical health. 3, family and relationship. 4, your career, work, and all of that. 5 is the money, wealth creation, and all of that. And the last one is your mental wellness. So check because if you look at it, all these things are things that we need. They're like I said, must-haves. If one of those areas I mentioned is not really right, you can't get yourself. You would just not be able to function properly. Even if you don't have money, it's like, if you don't have that spiritual thing, it's so. I would say get an accountability system in place. Just you might start with a friend. You might say, "Oh, I don't want to start going to all those people that can help me," but get somebody that you can be like that. Let's wait. Am I spending 2 minutes with my children or 5 minutes? What's my relationship with my children? Let me get feedback from them. Children, how am I doing? How is daddy doing? Do you think daddy is spending more time? Get feedback from them. From there, begin to take baby steps and say, this is my action step. But most importantly, get somebody you can be accountable to, because there's no point. You might say, oh, I'm going to do it. But because you're not accountable to anyone, no one's going to check you. No one's going to, it falls off, the place. And that's it. Just where to start. I think that would be it. So start from a list, identifying what the problem is, and get accountable.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Sister Boku. Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Sister Kenny, were you about to chime in? Oh, I can't hear you, sis.
I can hear. Yeah, I can hear as well.
Hello.
Oh.
Oh,
okay, we can hear. Yeah. Yes.
All right then. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Bokun. That was amazing. That was deep. You took us right into class, took us through church, take us back into the community, just back like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was amazing. You see, there's something that resonates with me, when you spoke about we should build our children's immune system so that they will be able to withstand whatever bacteria that is coming towards, because we cannot change what the world is. We cannot change what the world will continue to create. However, we can guide, nurture, and grow our own children, help build their immune system, so that even when they are faced with everything that's going to be in the world, because we're not going to shut the door against them. We're not going to say, oh, you can't go out, you can't mix with this kind of friend, you can't do this, because each time we say that our children cannot mix with a particular children, then we are not actually letting them go and make impact as well. But if you know what you have done, if you know that you've tried your best, as much as God has given you grace to nurture these children, to build their immune system, their foundation is solid in God. They know what they're doing. Their identity is there. They are sure of who they are. They're sure of everything about them. They know what they're supposed to do and what not they're supposed to do. These children, they influence themselves. So when they're in the midst of themselves, your own children, because you've added something into them, which is different, which is peculiar to what the world has, then that will come out, that will show out as well, because part of their identity will also be to influence others. So when they are in the midst of those people, they are as well doing those work. So if we don't build their immune system, then we just leave them for the world to help us deposit whatever junks into them. And they'll believe that's what life is. And when we get home and tell them, you can't do this and do it, they ask you why. Because they don't know. They've not been told. No one has ever told them that that was wrong. You didn't have that time to spare, to tell them what is right from what is wrong. Now you didn't bring anything to the table, and they have brought a jollof rice to the table, and you're telling them they can't have jollof rice. They have to know why. They want to ask why. So we need everything that you've spoken about. For anyone that's just joining us right now, you can just go back to the replay once this is done. You need to hear all of this. And I like the part of you saying that, this is what we have, what used to be, and this is where we are right now. Especially that slide I was talking about. You talk to them about taking turns. You tell them stop making noise. You're shouting. The way we do. But right now is drugs. Right now it's all sort of things. The words that they say. My children say some words, and immediately they say them. I just tell them straight away, that's a swear word, and they know that swear words are not allowed in the house, and I don't use it either. So we all have to be an example of what we preach. If you say that they shouldn't say it, then you don't say it as well. And people who knows me, even at work, they know that you cannot swear wherever I am. That is my own value, and I carry that value. You can do whatever you want to do, but then again, when I'm there, please respect my value as much as I will respect your values. And those are boundaries as well, which we need to, inculcate in our lives and in the life of our children. So thank you so much. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Aisha.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The one thing that Sister Brooklyn said that really, really resonated with me is the fact that children require your undivided attention. Because I know sometimes you want to be working from home, for example. You're working from home, and then you're also trying to spend time with your children. It's not the same. You're not spending undivided quality time with them. So you actually have to set out time, separate yourself from everything else. Let it be an open zone. Like sometimes, like no tech allowed today. We're all gonna sit down and talk and just spend time with your family as a unit without being distracted, without you having to get up to say, oh, I have to work now. At the end of the day, it's important that if your family are your priority, then everything else should come afterwards, And it's so important because I think in this world, work tends to be a lot of people. Family is the priority, but in reality, the work has become the priority. So it's important, if you're listening today, take what Sister Gokuna said, and it's so important that your work should not be competing with your family time. Never. Your family should come first, and then afterwards, yes, other things should then come afterwards. So yeah, that's one of the things that you said that really, really resonated with me. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. I learned so much from everything.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
The comments has been buzzing. Build your child's immune system to fight against the world's bacteria. When you said that, I was just like, wow, that is just mind-blowing and just, wow, amazing. So yeah. I think another thing that you really said that got me, I have to say, is because this is one thing I'm passionate about, is the difference between religion and spirituality. And I know when you touched on that, I was like, amazing. We're definitely in the spirit of that one. It's to understand.
So for those listening and those who are Christians, I beg of you, let's be that generation that we're not chasing our children away from church. We're not closing down church because of our attitude and the way we're doing things. We need to be that generation that has the power of God, that is transforming. Let the children see, let them impact. Your child comes and says, Mommy, I've got a problem. First, let's get on our knees. Tell them this is what I know, this is what I do. And let the power of God truly, let their heart open up to God. Let love flood their hearts. Christianity, one, is love. When love comes in, it overcomes. Even the Bible talks about it and gives us 2 commandments. 2. Love the Lord your God with all their, and what else? Our neighbor. Again, about relationship, about family. It's all encompassed. So pass on the right thing. Don't pass religion to the children. They would run. Or pass spirituality, the love of Christ. Pass the power that is at work within us. That transforming thing that When they pray, they know that it will be answered. When the sick calls on God, they know that they'll be. That's what you pass. If you don't know how to pass it, find out, read books, get people who can pass it. Don't just dump them in church and say, a Sunday school teacher is going to teach you. Please read to them in the Bible. What you don't understand, let them know that even I don't understand. Let's ask God. Be practical, be real, be genuine, and God Himself will reward each one of us. I know it's not that easy. We talk about being warriors and not warriors. It's so important. All the things you're taking, you're learning, please take them away. But most important, don't just listen, take action.
Wow. Thank you so much for that. Don't just listen, take action. You have heard from Sister Bokun today. Everything you've heard today, take action. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you so much. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, Mr. Kenny. Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. If you just joined us and you missed that, you really need to watch the replay. So I will encourage you, go out there and watch the replay after this. But yeah, so now we're going to the second segment, and I'm very, very excited. But before that, if you're just joining in and you're not entirely sure what's going on, yes, welcome to Stewarding the Kingdom Heritage. On this conference, we're talking about intentional parenting. It is so important that you're raising the children, you're stewarding the children that God has placed in your hands. They are not yours. You don't own them. You've been entrusted with this great privilege and responsibility to raise these children to be amazing, to fulfill their purpose. Not fulfill the purpose you want them to fulfill, but the purpose to which God has called them to fulfill. And one thing Sister Boku mentioned was that every child is a solution to something, to a problem in the world. So it is important that you allow your children, you facilitate, you help them be that solution, not to be what you want them to be. That's just not it. So now we're going to get into, and I'm going to introduce the next speaker. So now I'm going to introduce this amazing woman, Toluwalope Yusuf. She is a child sex educational coach. She focuses mainly on helping parents communicate sex education to their children with ease. She is an alumni of University of Abuja, where she had her BSc in English language. She is the president of Modeling Lives Initiative, a non-governmental organization that deals mainly in two things. One is taking sex education to schools, thereby orientating children from ages 3 to 10 plus about their body parts and the difference between public and private parts. Two, she is feeding and clothing the less privileged children. She is also an administrative professional and works as an admin head and student counselor at Durn Index Initiative, an organization focused on helping African students secure admission into credible higher institutions offshore. I'll take that again. She is also an administrative professional and works as an admin head and student counselor at the Durn Index Initiative, an organization focused on helping African students secure admission into credible higher institutions offshore. Join me in welcoming Toluwalope Yusuf. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, good afternoon. I'm fine,
So
thank
good to have
you.
you. Thank you very much for making time
Thank
to
you
be
so
here
much.
today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me come around. I'm super, super excited. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor Kenny. Thank you. Thank you. Um, can I go on now?
Yes, over to you. Over to you. Take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. Okay. I hope everyone can still see me. Hello, can you still see me? Please let me know if you can still hear or see me.
Hello, we can see you and hear you perfectly.
Okay, thank you so much. And you can see my slides too, right?
Not yet. So maybe I'll stay
Not
on,
yet.
and just to let you know. So try putting the slides on. I'll stay on. Just to let you know if I can see it before I then go backstage.
Okay, actually, my slides are on now.
Hmm.
So I just want to be sure.
Someone let me know in the comment section if they can see the slides. I can't see the slides.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to see if anyone can see the slides. Use the share screen
How about
icon.
now? Yes, I already shared.
Interesting. I haven't seen it. So have you tapped the share screen icon from your end? Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Now it's
Yes.
on. Now I can see the
Okay.
slides.
Okay,
Thank you.
done. Oh,
Thank you so
oh,
much.
great. Thank you so much. Yes, so I'm super, super excited to be here. Thank you so much, Pastor Kenny, and the organizers of this event. I pray that the entrance of the Word of God will give us light, and everything we share this afternoon is going to touch one or two people in Jesus' name. All right, so I'll be speaking on how to correctly educate your children about sex and, of course, the various age appropriate sex education. When we talk about sex education, lots of parents get, kind of scared on, okay, so how do I talk to my child about sex and all those? So, well, I pray that God will guide me and teach me how to lead you through in Jesus' name. So thanks for the introduction one more time. My name is Tolu Alope Yusuf. We have very limited time, so I'll try to be as fast as possible. So we'll just be looking at a brief introduction, then a definition to what sex education is, then why should parents actually pay attention to this, and of course, what's the appropriate age to start. And I'll share a little story. And of course, we'll talk about how to correctly educate your child on sex and give you a few tips to let you go. All right, so we move to the introduction. Yeah, well, pedophiles are everywhere, everywhere, everywhere. Unlike before, this time around, we can find them. We find it difficult to even know who is who again. Yeah, family members, friends. You don't know who exactly you're supposed to look out for. So this makes it very important for parents to actually learn about this thing, to pay attention to sex education, teaching their children on sex, reading about the thing to help them communicate better with their children. Growing up, I grew up in a pastor's house. My dad is a pastor, and he's this kind of person that is very, very accommodating. He lets people in, he brings in people, those that would say they don't have a place to stay. Oh, come live with us, come stay with us, and all those. And I can remember, I think I was 5. Yes, I was 5 when I had my first experience of sex abuse, of course, and of course, you know that this should be why I'm doing this. I'm very passionate about this. You know, um, I think my abuser then was my brother's Sunday school teacher. Yes, so and some other stories I've heard, of children being abused by their uncle, their aunt, mom's friend, dad's friend, someone that stays with them. So this should give you the understanding that abusers are not strangers. We usually have this mindset that, okay, you tell your child to stay away from a stranger and all those, but abusers are not really strangers. Most abusers are family members. They are close people. They're people you respect. They're people you know. They are uncles. It could be an uncle. It could be an aunt. Of course, I'm not trying to make you get how will I put it now? Too protective. But you need to understand this in order to know how best to educate your child and learn about warning signals. So let me quickly move further to the next slide. What is sex education? I say here that it is concerned with a deep awareness of a person's physical makeup that helps shape such individuals' body image and self-esteem. Sex education is not just all about, telling them about sexual activities. No, it starts first of all from making a child know what their body parts are, helping them build good self-esteem, helping them know how to respect themselves, how to respect their body. That would help them know how best to carry themselves, and of course it would limit the dangers of sexual abuse. It is a critical moral training every parent must give to a child. We pay attention to take ensuring that our children go through school and all those, but a lot of times we pay little or no attention to sexual education. So sex education is actually one of the most important things parents are supposed to pay attention to in the world today, you know. So let me quickly move further. Why should every parent pay attention to this? We see in the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6, it says, train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now, this is not limited to moral training. When we read this, we a lot of times talk about trying to train a child to be respectful, trying to train a child to know how to behave and relate with adults and all those. It is not just limited to that. It cuts across. It's encompassing. Train a child in the way it should go. When a child knows what to do and what not to do, when they grow up, they will know what they will not depart from it. I think the previous speaker also spoke about this. Lots of people that we see, I've always heard the saying that says, oughting people ought people, So a lot of pedophiles that we see around, actually, if you dig deep into their story, you would find out that one way or the other they've had an experience of something like this. And so it's either of two things that happen when someone becomes it's either when someone is being abused, has experienced abuse before. Either of two things happen. One, they become very reserved. They don't want to mingle with people. They don't want to mix up with the opposite sex. They don't want anything to do with them. A lot of them might say they don't want to get married. They don't want to settle down. They don't want to, or they have this excessive sexual urge. They're attracted to anything they see or anyone they see. So a lot of these pedophiles must have, experienced something like this, and which affects them even until they grew up. So the 7:15, verse 20, the B part, it says that we should beware of false prophets. We should beware of false prophets. I liken that to supposedly nice people. Like I said earlier, that abusers are not necessarily strangers. They could be family members. They could be friends. It could even be a spouse. Yes, I have a situation at hand recently of a child, a 3-year-old child that is being abused by a dad. The mom just noticed that the child keeps complaining that she's having pains in her private parts and all those, and she didn't know what it was, so she paid attention until a day she bumped into the child and the dad was trying to fiddle his what's it called, his penis or her vagina. There are cases, so we really don't know who is who, and this is one of the reasons why we have to educate our children about these things, so that when they see who come in sheep clothing, they appear nice, they appear as family members, but inward are wolves. You will recognize them by their fruits. You will recognize them by their fruits. There are things to look out for that would help you know that you need you need to be careful about this person. It could be that the person is unnecessarily close to a particular child. You have 5 children, for instance, and then there is just this person is the opposite sex and pays more attention to just this child. It's just this child the person wants to be around, wants to send on errands, wants to be alone with. By their fruit you would know them. Be conscious of all these things. Be conscious of who your child is with, who he or she stays with most of the time, who the child wants to be with, and all those. By their fruit you would know them. Grapes gathered from thorn bushes or fig thistles. So every healthy tree bears good fruit, but what? The diseased tree bears bad fruit. A healthy tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can diseased tree bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. All right, thank you. We move further to, what age are you supposed to start? You might be thinking, okay, do I wait till my child is maybe 5? At least from 5, the child should be able to talk well. Well, I would say that you should start from when your child is a toddler. From 0 to 3. Yeah, from 0 to 3, you can start educating your child about sex. How? Talk about their body parts as you're baiting for them. Oh, your eyes are beautiful. Your ears. Oh, see your ears. As you say all those things, it sticks in their mind. They begin to know, okay, these are my ears, these are my eyes, this is my nose, all those things. And gradually you're teaching them, you're beginning to train them. And as they grow, you begin to appropriate the right sex education. So we'll still go further to, all right, I want to share a little story. So my mom, I think I was 18. Yes, I was 18. Then I just got back from school, and my mom called me, and she was like, she said it in my local dialect. She was like, "Tolu mo fẹ́ bá ẹ sọ̀rọ̀," like, "Tolu, I want to speak with you." And okay, I got into the room. She shut the door. We sat down on the bed, and she was like, "Okay, so I want to ask you a question." Like, okay, what question is that? Like, do you have a boyfriend? Oh, really? Of course. I was surprised, because in my mind, the first thing that came to my mind was, okay, I think my first boyfriend was when I was 5. Yeah. So the question sounded so funny and awkward. Like, do I have a boyfriend? Do you know how many boyfriends I've had? Like, seriously, do I have a boyfriend? And I laughed, and she was like, why are you laughing? I'm serious. I'm talking to you about something very serious. I want to know if you have a boyfriend, so I'll know how best to, advise you. And I asked her the question. I was like, who told you that it is when a child is a teen that you need to start talking to the child about having a boyfriend, or educating the child about sex and all those, And she said something, which is one of the reasons, trying to reach out to parents on sex education. She said it in Yoruba. I'm going to say that in Yoruba and interpret in English. She said, "Me money," which means I didn't know, like I never knew, So I remember that. Okay, she told us about growing up. She didn't really grow up with a mom, and all those. And okay, so maybe she just had the notion that, okay, it's when a child is grown, and of course a youth should start from 18 or something, and so maybe from 18 is the appropriate time to talk to a child about these things. And of course, which is why lots of parents are not doing what they ought to do, and opening up their children to these dangers. And so that is my story. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to educate your children on sex, how to begin sex education. Now, the first thing is, there's what I call the level-based explanations. level-based explanation, which means as a child grows, there are appropriate things to talk to them about. You can't just start talking to a child of 5 or 6 or 7 about sex. No, there are things for that level. The level-based explanation for 0 to 3, 4 to 6, and up to when a child is 18, 19, 20. So there are level-based explanations, which we're going to talk about after the slide. But for your toddler, start from talking to them about their body parts. We are fond of something in this part of the world, Nigeria, I mean now. We try to call the private parts, we try to give them names, other names, like, we call the penis wee wee, what else again? I think the vagina, I can't really remember what name my mom used to call it now while we were growing up. But we just have very, very funny names for these things, Call it what it is. It is the vagina, it is the penis, call them what it is. Number one, it does something. It helps the child trust you, because when you call it another name and then someone else tells the child the right name and then eventually found out that, okay, this is actually what this is called. The child might, withdraw from believing some of the things you say to them, to him or her, It helps them also, take taboo away from these things. Like, know that it is the penis. So if anybody touches me in my penis, I can easily say I was touched in my penis. Take, for instance, let's just paint a scenario now. A child is being abused and you're the mom, you're the dad, you're not around, and there is maybe an adult around, and the child quickly runs to the adult to tell the adult what happened. And imagine the name you might have called this thing to the child, and then the child is unable to communicate appropriately with this person because the person does not understand what he or she is saying. Do you understand? There was a time we went visiting a school, and let me see my time now. Oh wow, I need to move fast. Okay, we went visiting a school, and we were flipping through. We have some pamphlets we use, the Model Boys pamphlet, and then we asked them to open to page 12. We talked about the penis. Remember, we said open to page 12, and then the boys opened, and they just started shouting, no, 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 no. And we're like, what is it? They felt so insecure, so ashamed, to talk about the penis, of course, which makes it difficult for them to also talk about it when they are being touched there, because they feel no, this shouldn't be talked about. And then when the stranger or the person tells them, don't tell anyone, your mom is going to beat you, they believe that. So call it what it is. Engaging questions and conversation. Engage with them in, when they ask questions, answer the questions properly, correctly, but you don't have to go into details, especially when it is a toddler. Open up, keep it simple, and seize every opportunity. Seize every opportunity to talk to them about sex. When you're waiting for them, when you're having a conversation, you could be doing when you're watching TV together, and all those. Seize every opportunity to talk to them about sex. All right, so we move further to the age appropriate sex education. So of course, like I said, 0 to 3, they're still toddlers, and whatever you want to teach them now should just be stuffs about their body parts. You can begin to make them understand that there are 2 basic parts of the body. We have the private parts and we have the public parts. Let them understand that the private parts should be kept private. That is why it is called private. Nobody touches it, nobody sees it. Even mom and dad, the only time they are permitted to maybe see or touch is when they are trying to wash you, But aside that, mom and dad shouldn't just touch your private parts. It is private. It is your home. We have songs we teach these children too as well. Yeah. So private should be private, public, people can see, people can touch, they can give you an high five, Use these things to educate your child. We have age 4 to 6. Now, this age, at this age, your child begins to, ask you some funny questions. They want to know certain things, And there is one thing I noticed about children in this age too. They try to want to like mimic whatever you do. They want to talk the way you talk. They want to walk the way you walk. They want to do things the way you do it. They want to dress the way you dress. That's why when you see a girl that wants to, make up the way that the mother does, and all those, they want to do what they see you do. So number one, be careful with what you do in the presence of those children, because it registers in their mind and they want to, practicalize what they see. So be careful and be mindful of what you do in front of them. Secondly, ensure that, I know at this stage they ask so many questions, lots of silly questions, and you're like, well, leave me alone. Try as much as possible to answer their questions, because if you don't answer, others will, and you don't know what information they would get outside. So try as much as possible to answer their questions, especially when it has to do with their body parts or about, their sexuality. Try to ask questions. They might want to know, okay, so why do I have a penis and my sister has a vagina? It could be as simple as saying your sister has a vagina because she's a girl and you have a penis because you are a boy. You are different. Could be as simple. You don't have to go into details. You don't have to start telling them, things they ought not to know at that age. So, teach them about their body parts, answer their questions, seize every bait time, when you're waiting for them, seize those opportunities to also talk to them about their body parts. Nobody should touch you here. Nobody should do this to you. Nobody should do that to you. Age 6 to 8. Also, from right from the scratch, they ask questions. Just ensure that you answer their questions. So answer every question correctly, but not in details. You don't have to give details. Answer their questions correctly. Teach them about body boundaries. Teach them about body boundaries. Nobody should touch you here, and you shouldn't touch others. Some pedophiles, they start by making the child touch them first. I think my own experience, the person that abused me, he made me touch him first. So they might start by making them touch them. So if you tell them that nobody should touch you, okay, so I'm not touching you, I just want you to touch me. So teach them body boundaries. You don't touch other people, and nobody should touch you here because it is your private part. Teach them, not to, go to certain places or do certain things with people. Um, from this time onward as well, you can also begin to teach them how to bait for themselves and wash themselves well, so that even you as a parent, you won't have the need to be the one baiting for them, and build strong intimacy with them at this stage. Be very close to them. Be their number one fan. Be their gist partner. Be the one they will always want to, talk with, discuss things with. If you always shun them, please, I'm busy. Oh, no, I don't have time. They would withdraw. And trust me, they will find someone else. And God help you. Now that someone else they find is not it's not that it will fall into the wrong hand. Yeah. So try as much as possible to build intimacy with them. So age 9 to 12, also answer their questions. And when they ask questions, try to probe further. Don't make it seem like you're trying to how will I put this down? Try to show them that you're interested in that conversation. Try to be interested in what they're talking about and build a conversation around it. And then, even if they don't ask you questions, try to ask questions. That would help you know what they know, and to the extent at which they know what they know. So you would be able to guide them appropriately. Talk to them about societal lies, what the society is saying that isn't true, and tell them what really is true. Use every opportunity, seize every opportunity, like I've said. When you don't know answer to certain questions that they might ask you, you could tell them, I'm not sure of the answer to this, but I would find out and let you know. You don't have to give them the wrong answer so they won't. Everybody is perfect. Oh, baby, I don't know, but let me find out and get back to you. And at this stage as well, begin to talk to them about this stage, prepare them ahead. Don't let the society prepare. Don't let their friends or their their colleagues or classmates and all those. Let them prepare them. Be the one to prepare them ahead for the puberty stage. Talk to them about wet dreams and all these things. And of course, age 19, 13 to 19, they're already teenagers. They have clique of friends. First of all, try to be friends with their friends. Really, you don't have to always poke nose into whatever they are saying or what they are doing, but know who their friend is. Know who their closest friends are. Invite them over. Listen to their conversation. You don't have to be always advising them. Like no, no, no. Yeah, but listen to their conversation. Talk to them about sex. Yes, talk to them about sex. Talk to them about what sex really is for. Why do people have sex? Why should people have sex? Talk to them about it. Yeah, you shouldn't be shy about talking to them about these things. Talk to them about what God says about sex. Talk to them about what God says about sex. Talk to them about teenage pregnancy. Talk to them about sexually transmitted diseases and all those things. Talk to them about body image, respecting their body. Talk to them about sexual crimes, about rape, and of course, emphasize your family values. Make it a part of them. Emphasize your family values such that they would have this mindset of I can't do this, because of the respect and the value that your family has built. Um, and so I'll just be sharing just a few tips with you. Um, Number one, make it easy for them to say no and be agreeable to it, especially when the child is growing up. Parents will find that we try to um, shun the child, especially when we want them to do something and they say they don't want to. Try to understand why this child does not want to do this thing. There are times the child would say no and you just let it be. Okay, that's fine. You don't want to do it. That's fine. Such that they would know that it is not wrong for them to actually say no to things. And so when an abuser comes and wants to make them do things, they might make them feel like I'm older than you and all those. But if they've been able to have this mindset that I can say no to what I don't want, they will be able to, say no and be firm. You must make your children understand that they can say no and they have a voice. Um, but do this, but to do this, they must have the vocabulary and emotional literacy to share their concerns. Ask questions, and of course, we must try to remove taboo from these things. Don't say it is wrong for a child to whatever an adult tells you to do, you must do it. No, it is not whatever an adult tells you to do, you must do. Try to reason with them. Okay, so why don't you want to do this thing? And then learn not to overreact on their day-to-day attitude. Whenever they do something, don't quickly just raise alarm and overreact on things. Try to be calm. This will help them easily approach you whenever they are faced with danger or something wrong. When a child knows that when they do something, their mom will get really mad, their dad will get really mad, they might, withdraw from, okay, let me not tell mommy, let me not tell daddy, because daddy might get angry, mommy might get angry. Don't always overreact on whatever they do. And of course, define the indicators of abuse or violation. Let them know, and of course, where they are expected to raise alarm. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So,
Sis, hey sis, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like, you raised so many amazing and important points. I think one of it is being so genuine about Exactly. When they ask you about their body parts, explain what it is to them. I've heard people's stories say things like, "Oh, my mom said if anyone ever touched me, I would get pregnant." And when I didn't, I decided to go and figure out what to do. And so you
Oh,
might
wow.
you might listen as an extreme example, but it's important to be honest, because when they realize that you're not being honest with them about what their body parts are, and the world is being honest with them about what the body parts are, they start to listen to the world for advice and take advice as to this is what needs to be done. This is that. Okay, well, mom didn't tell me, but there's something she probably doesn't want me to, enjoy whatever this is. But it's important that you educate them so that the world doesn't educate them. I think it just goes back to what all
Thank
of the
you.
speakers have been saying, including yourself, which is let them give them the facts. And one thing you said is, of course, it has to be age appropriate, as in what you're telling them, but name the body parts what they are. That way, there isn't shame when someone is doing something to you. You can come and say to mom or dad, "This happened today." You feel comfortable enough to express that to your parents. I think one other thing you said that really got me was intimacy, building that level of intimacy with your children, where they feel comfortable enough to let you know when something is going on, whatever it is. They have that closeness enough to be like, "Okay, this happened today, dad. I'm not sure what it is, but this happened. And more importantly, what you said about body boundaries, that is very, very important. And I hope everyone took that in terms of just making sure that you're expressing that, yes, it's okay to say no. It's not what every adult tells you that you have to say yes to. We can have a dialogue as to why you don't want to do whatever it is that you want to do. I think one of the biggest thing is the culture of silence.
That's
And
right.
I know this from my personal experience, when people just, you've been taught to keep quiet and just sit down, don't say anything. So when certain things happen to you, you can't really express it to anyone because the other person is saying, no one is going to believe you or whatever. So there has to be that level of comfortability that your children have with you, where they feel like they can come to you and tell you, and they know that you will not overreact as you usually do, or something along those lines. But yeah, thank you very much for what you said. I have a question for you, but I know Sister Kenny wants to add something. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you so much, Tolua. That was amazing. That was amazing. And we all need
Thank
to
you.
know that this is really important. Education is really, really important. And one of those things that could easily deviate, all of us from fulfilling our destiny or our purpose could be lack of sexual education. Because if a child is traumatized as a child, it will be difficult for that child to return back into the society, or to make use of everything that is that is available in the society. Why? Because that child is now scared of it, because the child will believe that there is society abuse. Like, if I go this way, this is going to happen to me again, and it will just make them box themselves into a cage where they cannot explore life and see what life has to offer anymore, because they've been kept short, they've been muted for a very long time. And to open up and to say, to come back alive, it's torture to some people. It is torture. And I did like the what you mentioned when you said even the abusers also were abused. Yes, but that's what it is. The pedophiles, if you ask most of them, 80% or 90% will tell you they've been abused as a child as well. And this is why this is really, really important, for us to guide them, for us to expose them to the truth. Rather than exposing them to the lies of the world, we expose them to the truth, to what is true, what is right, so that they can know how to properly adjust in any situation that they find themselves. And like I said earlier, we cannot go everywhere with them. When they go to the university, we can't go there with them. But when they go to college, they can come back home whatever and tell you the boss had a problem or whatever happened, but you would not have known what happened in between. Even if they have a phone, So they could tell you something is wrong with the phone. They're kids. We've all been kids, and we know what we were capable of when we were much younger, and we thank God for the salvation of our soul and who we are right now. So we need to teach them so that they can be able to withstand whatever that is coming their way. And she made a very vital point that let us teach them how to say no. That is really important, in as much as it's going to pose a threat to us as parents. No parent wants their children to say no. Go and do this. No, oh my God, that's going to be a problem. But we can start learning it. We're engrossed in lazy parenting. We might want to start, adjusting, ourselves to what is really true. Because these children, if they say no, and you force them to do it, without realizing why you think that they should do it, then whenever they are being abused, when they say no and those people forces them, they think it's okay because it's exactly what is happening at home. So let us teach them. When they say no, let us probe further. Why are they saying no? The children should know. That should be part of your values that we spoke about earlier on, for us to have a value, have a family value, have a value that binds you. Your child knows that they can't go outside of that value. So why are they saying no at this particular point in time to what they know that it should be a yes? Do you get what I mean? So let us stay by it. Let us be consistent by our family values, and as well, let us train them, to say no, because our body has a lot of things. Once it's been violated, it feels like the whole world is violated. So we need to understand the reason, the importance of us sharing. Let's not wait until 18 years old. I know Tolua was saying that our mom, sat her down at the age of 18. A lot of things could have gone wrong. She could have aborted, 15 babies, for all the world cares by that time. But at those times, those parents were not aware. There is no, in these days that we have today, there are loads of awareness about it. Even still, some parents are still not aware. So we will not be silent. We'll keep to say it. I don't think that, God bless my mom, she's a wonderful, wonderful mother, God bless her. But I don't think that my mom even sat me down and asked me about sex education before. Because, but like Tolua said, your mom was really, really, really truthful to have told you that she had no idea, that she didn't know. But that's really good. Some parents don't even know because they were not told as well. You see, as much as we want to blame them, we can't. They were not told. But now we are told. We know what is right. And we need to guard these children jealously. We need to guard these children. They are gold in our hands. They are the future of tomorrow. And once the future of that tomorrow, once those leaders of tomorrow have been broken today, how can they fix what they're supposed to uphold in the future? So we need to understand that. We need to know that they are very, very important. Let us not just drop them off anywhere. Let us know if they don't want to go there. Be sure, why are they not going there? Is it because of the values in that house? Maybe they are too strict and maybe you're not that strict in your own house. No. And know if they're being abused. You need to pay attention. Please pay attention. It is very, very important. I know while we were growing up, we can go to cousin's house because that's where you get the best teaching of your life. They'll teach you, like, in your house, you don't pack the plates. Here, you will pack the plates, and then it's very easy for you to say, I don't want to go there anymore, because I don't want to pack the plates. I don't want to wash the plates. I just want to eat and just get up. Do you see? But you need to know why are they saying no. You need to understand that and then help them, in those ways. Even if they lack in those areas, it's fine. That's why we're there. We continue to nurture them. We continue to wet their ground so that when they grow up, they are bringing out good fruit that the world can see and the world can have a taste and the world can enjoy as well. Remember, they are the light of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Aisha. Thank you very
much. I have a question for you just before you go.
Okay.
The reason, what I wanted to ask you about, it's a very sensitive topic. And the reason I say that is because someone could be listening today and be thinking, I'm noticing some changes in my children and I'm not sure what's going on. They're suddenly, a child that is outspoken suddenly isn't saying much. and they don't know how to approach the conversation. Perhaps they feel like there could have been some molestation or something, but they don't know how to approach the conversation. What would you suggest to such a parent? I think there's a delay.
Tolua,
Hi,
the
can you hear
question is
me?
for you.
Can you hear me?
Okay. I was trying to understand the question. So you notice the change in the child,
Yeah, so
yeah,
yeah,
and
so
then
yeah, do you want me to repeat it? Okay, so let's say you notice a change in the child.
please
You're
do, please
noticing
do.
that maybe the child is becoming withdrawn, for example, and is getting to a point where you're wondering, is there something going on? You know, you're seeing the signs that people say there might be some molestation, and you're thinking, how do I approach this conversation with my child at this stage? And I was just wondering if you can shed any light regarding that.
Okay, so first of all, yeah, thank you so much. So first of all, you need to, I would need to know how old is the child. That would help you know how best to approach the situation. But if it's a toddler, like the example I cited of, the mother that realized that the child, it's like the child is being abused because she's been complaining of pains in her vagina and all those, and she what she did was she paid attention. So of course that's what I'm going to advise as well. Pay attention, try to be more observant. you know you don't want to just post a question to the child, so try to observe and seize opportunity. When you realize that your child is being open, every parent know one or two things about their child. And so yes, so you said that formerly probably the child is outspoken, and then suddenly the child, try to seize the opportunity, get close to the child, ask questions. Okay, babe, what's the matter, what's happened? Depending on how old the child is as well. Did anyone touch you? Did anyone touch you here? How did the person touch you? And those, that would help you know how best to address the situation. So if the child is able to then tell you what actually happened, and it is what you were thinking, then you need to, of course, escalate it. What I notice with lots of parents, especially from this side, Nigeria, is we try to, hide it, especially if it's a family member that has done whatever to the child. We try to keep it within ourselves, like it will spoil or tarnish the family image and all those. But much more beyond that, it has a long way to go in affecting this child. So the child needs to know that you've got their back. So of course, you need to handle the situation, escalate it. Don't just keep it. Don't make it a family thing and hide it and tell the child, don't tell anyone. So
Mm.
that's my response.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm sure it's helped someone here today. Thank you very much for everything you said. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing such amazing nuggets that would help every single person here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you're just joining us, you're welcome to Stewarding the Kingdom Heritage. I'm your host, Aisha Barano. Thank you so much. If you've missed we've had two amazing speakers today. If you've missed any of it, I want you to go back and make sure you watch the replay. They've shared such amazing things with us, and it's so important that if you can, please go back and watch the replay. Okay, so now we're going to go on a really short break. And we're going to be back here at 2 o'clock. So grab a coffee, grab your tea, and we shall be back. What I'm going to do is be playing music in the background, and the live will continue to stream. And so once it's 2 o'clock, we'll continue the program. So thank you guys. See you guys in a bit. I'm just going to play some music. Hopefully you guys like my playlist. 1 second. I'm just trying to get it out. I'm only getting better, that's because God told me that. I'm on a different level, that's because God told me that. I know the extra, that's because God told me that. I don't need no friends, that's because God told me that. I'm forgiven for my sins, that's because God told me that. I know that I'm going to win, that's because God